What would you do if a millionaire invited you to a lavish party? Just to laugh at you. Would you still show up, or would you walk away, proud but broken? This is the story of a woman who didn't walk away. She walked in. And when she did, she changed everything. On the outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia, lived a woman named Delores Johnson. She was a cleaning lady, black, middle-aged, proud, and known for humming gospel tunes while scrubbing tile floors. Her hands were calloused, her knees often sore, but her spirit, unbreakable. She worked at one of the wealthiest private schools in the state, where she mopped the marble floors beneath the patent leather shoes of children who barely noticed her. Except for one. Jordan McCallum. A teenage boy with sharp eyes, a troubled look, and a heart no one seemed to notice. But this isn't about him. Not yet. The story begins on a stormy Thursday, when the school's board member, billionaire real estate mogul Malcolm Ashford, visited to speak at an assembly. Tall, tailored, silver-haired. Malcolm owned half the skyline and twice the ego. After the event, he strolled past Delores while she was on her knees, cleaning grape soda out of the auditorium carpet. He smirked. "You missed a spot." Delores smiled politely. "I'll get it, sir. You ever been to a real party, Miss Johnson?" Delores Johnson. "Well, Delores Johnson," he chuckled. "I'm having a black tie gala Saturday night. All the who's who in the city will be there. You should come. See how the other half lives." He laughed as he walked away. A few of the teachers nearby chuckled awkwardly. They all knew it was a joke. Cruel one. But Delores didn't. Delores went home that night to her small but spotless apartment. She sat quietly on the edge of her bed, the invitation echoing in her mind. She knew it was meant as a joke, but something in her heart whispered, "Show up anyway. Not for them. For you." She opened her closet. Nothing but old uniforms and Sunday church dresses. That's when she picked up the phone and called Miss Ruth, the 87-year-old seamstress at her church who once tailored dresses for Harlem debutantes. "Child," Miss Ruth said, "if you're going to walk into the lion's den, you best be dressed like a queen." They worked through the night. By Saturday evening, Delores emerged from a borrowed town car wearing a sapphire blue satin gown that shimmered like moonlight. Her silver hair was swept up into a regal twist. Her eyes sparkled with a strange mix of fear and defiance. The valet hesitated. "Name, ma'am?" "Delores Johnson." "I was invited." Inside the ballroom, chandeliers sparkled like galaxies and the air buzzed with laughter and clinking glasses. The crowd froze when Delores entered. For a moment it was silent. Laughter. Some tried to stifle it. Malcolm Ashford, holding a champagne flute, nearly spit it out. "Well, I'll be," he said. "You actually came." Delores nodded, calm. "I did." He approached her, amused. "You know, I didn't think you'd take it seriously. But you clean up well." Delores smiled slightly. "Thank you. That's what I do. Clean up messes." She turned and walked with purpose toward the hors d'oeuvres, head held high, spine straight. A few guests turned to whisper, but one didn't. An elderly woman, Mrs. Annabeth Carroll, took Dolores's hand gently. "That gown," she said. "Is it vintage Ruth Parker?" Delores blinked. "Why, yes, ma'am, it is. She's an old friend. I modeled for her once," Annabeth said, smiling warmly. "My dear, you are stunning." The evening took a turn. As the evening wore on, people began talking to Delores, not about her. They asked about the dress, her story, her work, and she answered with grace. Then Jordan McCallum entered. He wasn't supposed to be there, but he'd heard about what Malcolm did. He'd seen Delores, day after day, comforting students, handing out snacks she bought with her own money. He saw her as family. When Jordan stepped into the ballroom in his too large tuxedo and saw Delores standing proud, surrounded by half the city's elite, he smiled. Then, to everyone's shock, he crossed the floor, kissed her hand and said loudly, "Ladies and gentlemen, this woman once told me that being kind is never beneath you, and never above anyone. If I turn out to be half the person she is, I'll have done all right. Then applause. Annabeth Carroll offered Delores a part-time position managing guest experiences at her historic hotel. Only if you promise to wear that dress and tell that story. Jordan, inspired by Dolores's dignity, founded a school kindness initiative, named the Delores Project. It started with just a few students. Within a year, every student in the school participated. Malcolm Ashford, confronted publicly and privately by his behavior, made a donation in Dolores's name to fund scholarships for school staff's children. He never apologized directly. But the check had a handwritten note. "You taught me something." Delores never expected that night to change her life. But it did. Not because she wanted revenge or attention, but because she showed up in dignity against laughter and doubt. And sometimes just showing up is the most powerful act of all. So next time you're tempted to shrink to fit someone else's expectations, remember Delores. And walk in like a diva. Because the world needs more grace, more courage, more you. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder of their worth. Hit that like button, subscribe for more real stories that inspire hope, and drop a comment below. When was the last time someone surprised you with kindness? We'd love to hear your story. And if you're ready for another moving tale, stay tuned. Our next story might just change the way you see the world.